WWE SmackDown took place from Salt Lake City, Utah, and the show featured Solo Sikoa kicking off the show to let Roman Reigns know that he needs to accept his terms of surrender ahead of WarGames because he's not prepared, so he needs to just surrender to him. And when he acknowledges him as the tribal chief, he will allow the rest of the OG bloodline to do so as well. Roman didn't have a plan for the OG bloodline not having a fifth man after Sami Zayn and Jey Uso suggested Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. And he told the OG bloodline that they were going to go out there, and if we die, we die. Good advice. The OG bloodline confronted the new bloodline to close the show for the terms of surrender. We had Solo basically telling Roman that he will accept them all in the bloodline because he loves them and he wants them to be in the bloodline with them so they can dominate for years and years to come. Before Roman could respond to Solo, though, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. To a huge pop from that Salt Lake City crowd, he suggested that Solo might have some bad math because you can't have a WarGames with a 5-on-4. It has to be 5-on-5, and the fifth man is none other than CM Punk. CM Punk comes out taping his fist. He comes and joins the OG bloodline in a brawl with the new bloodline. It breaks down, fighting off everywhere. We get a big stare down between Roman and Punk before Roman hits a spear on Tonga Loa, while Punk hits the GTS on Tama Tonga at the same time. And we close the show with Punk staring off with Roman Reigns with the OG bloodline, but behind Roman and Paul Heyman in between Roman and Punk. What a close to the show. This crowd, the roof went off the building for Paul Heyman. It went off the building for CM Punk's return, and it went off the building for the Punk Roman stare down. So we got a lot to discuss there. But to get someone else's opinion on what went down on SmackDown between Punk joining up with the OG bloodline and Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman's return. We had the Cody and Kevin Owens promo exchange, Jade Cargill getting written out of WarGames and the women's U.S. title tournament. We got to bring in our fourth member of the team, the resident True Hill alcoholic himself, Top Guy JJ. How are you doing?
Wait, you're
What it do, y'all? Yo, I was so on the fence because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna sound okay. I've been sick literally like all week, so I was like, let me play this by like sound in the morning.
okay.
Like so loud rants probably not gonna happen today because if I even try, I'm gonna probably hack up a storm. So, but yeah, I was hearing which I was kind of talking about so far. So, I guess it was perfect time to join.
Absolutely.
Krssi, what's up, girl?
Hey, bro. How are you? I'm so happy to see you, friend.
Always happy to see you too, man. What up, Josh? What up, homie?
What's up?
Yeah, surviving. Now got to make it through the Black Friday in December now, which is always like the terror month.
So, there you go. Top Guy JJ, any thoughts on last night's SmackDown? Of course, highlighted by CM Punk joining up with the OG bloodline with Paul Heyman returning for WarGames.
Well played, I would say. Well played. I would say it was well played. Like, there's clearly no allegiance to the bloodline for this match. This is strictly a favor to the guy that he's been synonymous with for 20 plus years. So this is strictly a favor. And that's good because it just kind of gives them a way out of getting Brunson out of there when this is over, getting Punk out of there when this is over. Clearly, Brunson's the fall guy. Clearly,
no.
To me, that's what I saw it immediately as.
Tonga Loa is on his team.
Tonga Loa.
He's the fall guy. He's the fall guy.
He's
Tonga,
too easy.
Loa, and Tama Tonga. Every time they need to make the babyface look good with a double finisher, it's always them. They are the fall guy.
But SP, that's too easy of a cop out for a big match like this. You can't just say, "Oh, the weakest guy of the whole 10 people." He's got to be the obvious fall. I think it's because now
when they try to be cute and do something different, we do what they did last year, where they did the whole big spot with JD McDonough, and then they pinned Damian Priest, Money in the Bank holder.
Yeah. So I'm saying Brunson because Brunson's not staying in the bloodline. So if Brunson takes the fall and then the following week he fails solo, they can jump him, kick him out, continue business as usual. Brunson goes back to his show, business as usual. This doesn't continue.
Bronson Reed is a hired gun. He's done after WarGames.
And when he fails, they will kick his ass.
No, he cannot fail. After he lost that crown jewel and everybody was upset, they cannot have him in this matchup and lose. That would be as dumb as having Jacob Fatu lose this match.
So it's as dumb as them pulling Jade Cargill out of WarGames too, basically.
I don't think it's dumb. I understand it. I understand it completely. I was like, for
the life of me, don't get it. I don't for the life of you get it.
Oh no, I get it. I get why.
I knew when they showed the team on Raw, I was like, nah, Bayley is like very important for this matchup. Bayley has the connection to Nia and Tiffany. She's been feuding with them. She also was in the first 2 WarGames with who else? Bianca Belair and Io Sky, who was on the babyface team. So I was like, you're definitely going to put Bayley in here. So you just have to get rid of one of these people. And they took the most inexperienced person.
So they basically planting the seeds for their split up because then she got attacked and then where's Bianca? Why didn't she help her? Is that what you is that?
Or I'm hoping it's a whodunit. It's a whodunit storyline that they can do over a couple of weeks. That they could be like, was it Bianca? Was it Bayley? Was it this person? Was it that person? And actually have a good payoff to it. And you can then have it like that's the reason why they break up, where
it's
Jade finds out who it was, and she thinks that it's Bianca or something like that.
Yeah, I mean I like it, and I like that they were able to let Seth just stick to his word of never doing it. So they did that, which I enjoyed because it's like he said it back-to-back weeks, like, no, I'm never doing this with him. I'm never teaming with Roman again. And now he gets to stand on that word. We don't get to see like this okey doke, and all of a sudden his music just plays, and all of a sudden his word after saying the same shit for 2 weeks in a row is no longer like valid because he's now teaming with us. So I'm glad that they didn't go that route. Because
that would have been the 3rd time in a row, basically.
This was
they did that with Jay. Yeah. Where Jay on Monday is like, no, I don't even want to talk to my brother. Then Friday night he's getting involved in the bloodline business, setting himself up to lose the Intercontinental title. Then they did it with Sami Zayn, who said, no, I don't want to get involved in this. I don't even know why you're involved in this, Jay. Then he's having a conversation with Solo. Then he's right back in the bloodline business on the Saturday at Crown Jewel. So it would have been 3 times that they just reverted from what the babyface character said on TV.
Yeah, and so I like that. I like this move because we all know it's a straight one-off, which is great because business as usual once this is over. For even, Sammy's like the coin flip of what he gets to do, and then, get to see what Jay continues to do. Obviously, Jimmy, no matter what happens out of all of this, is just going to stick with Roman. It's just now you get to see, and, get to see how the others play out. I thought this was actually, to me, a very important episode of SmackDown. I thought that a lot went into, like, the future stories of what's going to happen. Like, I don't know if y'all talked about it yet, but I freaking loved the Cody and Kevin promo.
Yeah, we
loved it.
It made Kevin feel important again. I feel like
Kevin Owens is going to be the catalyst of seeing the personality change of Cody Rhodes. And I love that. Like, Kevin Owens is such an anchor. He is such an important piece. Like, this is
puzzle,
getting to see him, like, him being the seed planted to test the accountability of Cody Rhodes was beautiful. Like, so well done. Like, where the fuck is your accountability and seeing what these people have done to me and this guy, and you decide to fucking partner with him. And you think that you just scapegoat, and then it planted a better seed later for Carmelo Hayes to voice his opinion out on. I was like, this is a Cody Rhodes accountability episode. I fucking loved it. I fucking loved it because he has never faced accountability yet. And it's like, it's happening. And however you feel about it, it's how he's responding. And Cody is like, yo, he's like he's getting unhinged a little bit. He's getting annoyed. And I love that because it's showing a different personality of him in the WWE. Like, he's just pissed off right now. like getting on Nick Aldis, like, yo, evaluate your number one pick. It's time to reevaluate this fucking bum. Let's put that shit to the test. Kevin Owens, you hate yourself, you prick. Yo, so good. It was so good. Like, I was like, yo, this anger is what Cody's been missing from his entire run, because there's been nothing that felt like personal, and it's finally something that's hit it. And I loved every minute of it. That's why I was like, this is such an important episode. And then you get to see the DIY, and I literally had sent like Krssi this little reel of Montez Ford. Like, this man needs to be shot to the fucking moon. Like this man needs a straight moon push. And you literally see his first solo entrance. The entire fucking crowd is with him. Like, the entire crowd is with him. The first time this man does a solo entrance, and he does, you see half the fucking people doing it on the first time. Like, people are yearning for that shit. Like, they are yearning for this man to get a fucking solo push. And you could just see it straight on the reaction. It's like, this man is a star. This man is a star. Just let it happen. Just let it happen. Like this, I don't know, like, how to rate, like, I would say this, but for what I've seen from it, I thought it was a really solid episode. I really enjoyed the to me, like, the important pieces. I enjoyed it. And then the Paul Heyman return was like almost like the icing on the cake. Like, it's like, no matter how predictable it is, whenever you hear "ladies and gentlemen," like, that shit is like almost like a goosebump creation. Like, it's like, my guy is like that man is back, you know? So this was a really, really fun thing to watch last night.
Yeah, like I said, I thought it was one of the better shows since like the summer. And like you said, like the Paul Heyman, CM Punk, Roman Reigns of it all is something intriguing that could lead to more stuff coming out of SmackDown and Survivor Series next Saturday. In a recent interview he did, he was at Complex Con. CM Punk spoke with the Cheap Heat podcast, Peter Rosenberg, and CM Punk teased working with Roman Reigns in WWE again before SmackDown, and noted that a lot of big names would be around for him to work with. He said, "We're on different shows, and with my injury and his time off, I saw him at WrestleMania. That's the last time I saw him. The Shield came in and made a ton of waves in a short amount of time. My relationship with all those guys was pretty good. I just had to get the hell out of here for my own sanity. Absent makes the heart grow fonder. I think a lot of questions you have. What is Punk's relationship with Roman? What does Punk feel about Seth? All of that stuff is going to play out on television, because that's what I do. Wrestling fans love drama. When you tune into Raw and SmackDown, you want to see the big names and big money stuff. What is Rock going to do? What is Punk going to do? What is Roman going to do? John Cena is coming back. You throw Cody Rhodes into the mix. He's the champ. Gunther. You get all those big names and superstars revolving in the same area, and sparks are going to fly. I want to ask you first, Josh, do you think that CM Punk was the right choice as the fifth man for the OG Bloodline in WarGames? And with the tease that we got last night with the stare down, now that they're going to be partners next Saturday, when should WWE pull the trigger on CM Punk versus Roman Reigns?
That's such a good shot, by the way.
Ooh.
As far as answering the first question, wouldn't say the right choice, but I think it's the fair choice, right? You wanted to make it interesting. and having Paul Heyman involved while bringing Paul Heyman back,
Mhm.
I think that actually made the whole thing better, right? Because it's not so much like, right? We know what Seth Rollins could do, but let's be real, it wasn't as interesting because you kind of handicapped Seth Rollins. Not only that, but Dan, you would have made him look like an idiot again. We already got that for WrestleMania 40. You made him look like a glorified idiot, and then you were planning to do it again. Like you were gonna have him team up with you're gonna have him team up with the same guy that basically beat him and Cody at WrestleMania. I wouldn't have wanted that for him. So bringing in Punk, I think makes not only makes the most sense, but I mean it kind of gave it a spark that it really needed, because we were in that kind of situation where we're just like, oh, they're adding Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins because that's the feud. So they're just adding that. So taking Seth Rollins out of that makes it better, but then also it makes him look like a smart guy finally, because he gets to keep his word. So I like that. And again, it makes WarGames for the men very, now it was already interesting, but now it kind of like amps it up in my opinion. Like it's like, oh shit, like they're finally doing something. And I do want to see how Punk does in this match. You know, he's been off for a month. So, you know, and sometimes, you know, with Punk, I kind of noticed with Punk is that when he doesn't wrestle for a while, he does tend to be very rusty. So maybe this is a good match because it could be messy, and if they fuck up, then it's kind of an excuse because it's like, oh, it's WarGames, so you don't need to be perfect in WarGames, right? And as far as the second, what was the about Roman and Punk when they should do it?
Yeah.
Maybe I would say maybe SummerSlam. I think if you're trying to sell SummerSlam, you have a 2-night show for SummerSlam. I think that's a good spot for them for SummerSlam. Like, you know, it's a big event. It's a, you know, you can have eyes on the event, and that would draw people. So I think SummerSlam is a good spot. It's just a matter of like, it's from all, you know, like right now we're in November, that happened, and then SummerSlam's not until August. You still have Punk and Seth Rollins to do. There's a few things you could still do that you could hold that off until SummerSlam. But I think SummerSlam is a good spot because I don't see that happening at Mania. I think Roman's gonna do something bigger at Mania, so I think SummerSlam is the next big step for that, because definitely not doing that at Saudi. We saw Punk hates Saudi Arabia, so he's not going there. So you're not going to do it for there. So I would say I think SummerSlam. I would say I'll give, and then also, you know, Triple H does like to drag shit, so I mean this is perfect for him. So I think SummerSlam is a good spot.
He loves that. I'm actually going to disagree with the when they do Roman versus Punk, only because I am now what's today, November 23rd, 2024. I don't feel like we're getting the triple threat of Cody versus Rock versus Roman. I think we're more likely we're going to get Roman versus Rock, and Cody will just have the night one main event. So if they do that, if they do that, then Roman and Punk is WrestleMania 42. So that's what I would say. I would say WrestleMania 42.
You think they're gonna drag it even further?
Yes, I think they'll do Roman.
That's a long time.
Punk. Roman versus Punk at WrestleMania 42 in 2026. But I do agree with Josh that SummerSlam is not a bad shout at all because of the 2-night at MetLife Stadium. That's a big enough show that you could do it. You could do a nice little 4 to 8 month program with Paul Heyman in the middle of Roman Reigns and CM Punk, and then culminated at SummerSlam. So that would be great as well. It just feels like the type of big matchup that Roman Reigns would say, nah, we could do that at a WrestleMania. And it feels like the type of big matchup where CM Punk could finally main event a WrestleMania, because he ain't doing it with Seth Rollins. in 2025. So he needs that one big matchup to finally main event of WrestleMania. So that's why I would do that at WrestleMania 42. And I do think that CM Punk being the fifth man is the right choice. It was the right choice and really the only choice for WWE. Cody Rhodes is busy with Kevin Owens, and like I've said a million times on this show, they did way too much Cody Rhodes versus the Bloodline, and it became a crutch for his whole entire title reign. This finally feels like he's in a storyline that's a main event program that doesn't involve anyone from the Bloodline. So he needs to stay on track with that over there. Doesn't need to get involved over here. Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns is another big money matchup that I don't think we're going to get anytime soon. I think we're going to get it way down the line, it's like a WrestleMania
it's too big.
42, 43. Yeah, they are sowing the seeds of a decade-long storyline between these two guys, from the Shield stuff to Seth being the difference why Roman lost the title at WrestleMania 40. All the stuff he said over the last couple of weeks about not wanting to be on his team, never being able to team up with him again. The next time I see him, I'm going to stomp his head in the ground. That's going to culminate at your SummerSlam, your WrestleMania, your tent pole event. So that's down the line. So I think that it was the right choice to not put Seth Rollins in here. And CM Punk fills a lot of spots because it does help out the Seth Rollins CM Punk rivalry, because he's taken a spot that now probably Seth wanted after what happened on Monday with Bronson Reed and Solo. And it also further basically lights the spark for a CM Punk Roman Reigns matchup. And Punk is the third biggest star in the company. So you have two of the three biggest stars in WarGames. It makes WarGames feel bigger. This Survivor Series card feels like a one-match show because all the concentration, all the focus, all the good storytelling is going on one matchup out of the three they have already announced. So
are we surprised though?
Yes, I am a little surprised because most WWE PLEs this year have had effort to more than two matches. This one doesn't have more than one. Yes, I'm surprised. If this was Vince McMahon, I would not be surprised. But this is Triple H. I expect better. I expect better from him. I don't expect nothing from my old. I don't expect nothing from my oldest child who's 23 living in the basement. But my 14-year-old who's in college, yes, you. I expect more from you.
Okay. I mean that's fair. I mean that's fair, right? We want to be. You gotta be critical on Triple H too. That's all we've been asking for.
Listen,
right?
You're right. I agree. You're right.
Top guy JJ, do you think Punk is the right choice for WarGames, and when should WWE do Punk versus Reigns?
I think what's crazy. It's like to a degree. Like I agree with both of you. Like you know what I mean. And I say that because if they do pull the trigger, I think what you said about Mania 42 might just make a little bit more sense, because if WWE in 2025 does not have a 4 to 5 month feud between Punk and Rollins, we've been robbed of something great. Because this is a feud that needs to drag to a minimum of 3 matches. So that would take 3 PLEs, and then they're gonna probably, as soon as that blow off happens, they're gonna take a PLE off.
And knowing both Punk and Seth's history over the last year, one of them will get hurt after WrestleMania. So they'll do the second match at SummerSlam, and then they won't end it till the fall.
I'm not putting that in the air, so I'm not going to do that.
I'm just saying. I'm just going by the math.
I'm not going to put that in the air.
I'm not jinxing. But so was it a jinx every year when people said Vince Carter was going to get injured in the NBA? God. No, you're just basing it on the history.
I'm not bringing the fucking frail NBA into this shit, because the entire fucking league is injured right now. I'm not doing that.
Sounds like CM Punk.
What I'm saying is that at the end of the Punk and Rollins feud, one of them is going to go for the World Heavyweight Championship. One of the decider, the winner of this feud, is going to go for the World Heavyweight Championship, which ideally would be CM Punk. So if you have CM Punk defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 42, it just lines it up beautifully and gives them time to do it all and get as much fucking juice out of these two feuds as you can possibly get. So I do think to let it drag out for a little bit longer, and there's gonna be a point in time, and people, and listen, I'm not the one to I'm not gonna like this, but there's gonna be a point where I think Roman is gonna go through an adverse period. I think he's gonna go through like a little hill he's gonna need to climb. Like he's gonna take a couple of big L's over these next 6 months, and he's gonna have to get his shit back. You have already seen it. He's already taken a massive loss to Solo Sikoa already. Like he's already taken a big L. So I think he's gonna have a year of come up. So it's almost like the way he is kind of like being perceived now. It's like if they have this Rock Roman match, I wouldn't be surprised if Rock went over. Like I wouldn't be surprised because it's gonna give Roman a ground that he's gonna need to come up from. He's gonna have to work himself back into the tribal chief, the head of the table, and you can't do that with losing to the fucking the final boss and the tribal chief that's begging to be acknowledged. Like, can't be the head of the table losing to both of them. You just can't. You're gonna have to work that shit back up, and the best way to do it is to take the strap that you've never owned yet off of somebody that you kind of have this little budding thing that's just starting in late 2023. So it gives a lot that they can work with two mega stars over the next 2 years, which is good for them because they got a lot of shit to do with everybody else in between. So I do think that he is the right choice, and it just it's like I think it saves Seth Rollins. It just saves him because I'm almost tired of seeing him being made a fool of, and this happening now where he gets to keep his word, stay away from this match, not potentially be any fall guy, and there's no reward for him for being in this match. To me, there's no reward for him for being in it. It's like he's gonna end up doing something that he didn't want to do to begin with, and if he wins, so what? Because he's not gonna be happy about it because he's in fucking Roman Reigns' team. So it's that feud still needs to happen too. Like there's just layers to what they can do with Roman Reigns for the next 2 to 3 years at minimum, and you don't want to just blow that off of just having him break his word again to team with him and then have to make that shit back up. So it just made sense. I like it. I do think and it's almost like Punk was a little lost as far as like what he's gonna do in the interim before Seth Rollins. So I think this was like perfect filler to then start the seed planting for what's to come with Seth Rollins. So I think it's the right choice. Now, I ain't gonna lie, there was a small piece of me that was petrified that I was gonna hear Brock Lesnar's music. And I would have been like, this shit would have made no fucking sense whatsoever. This would have been awful. It would have been so awful if I heard that music, because that shit would have made 0 sense.
Are we coming?
They're standing clear from him.
I'm not.
Just
all right.
Just so.
I don't read the dirt sheets, so
they're standing. Yeah, they're standing 100% clear from him because the lawsuit is still ongoing, and that just wouldn't be the best move to have the man. Basically, we kind of started the lawsuit to be involved in anything. Just so you know, like that's basically where they're at now. He's not in no plans. He's not in no internal roster plans. Nothing. Okay. Like they're standing steer clear from Brock. Which they should.
I was because I don't follow that as much. So when Paul, I was like, oh, please do not let me hear that fucking horn or whatever that shit is. But we didn't. We got it. We got Live in Color. So I was like, okay, we're good. We're good. So yeah, I think that the right move was made, and this is going to be it's going to be the most entertaining thing on the entire show by a mile, by a country mile, unless they start to plant more seeds in the Kevin and Cody's feud, because I think that the way they are at each other right now is probably going to be the second best feud in the company.
Yeah, it's already the second biggest feud in the company. They just need to let us know when the hell this is happening. I feel like I said it before you came on here. They almost had a home run segment, but it was more like a triple. It was more like a triple because they didn't slide home because they couldn't let us know when they're doing the matchup, because I don't think WWE knows when they're doing the matchup.
Because it's a big match. It's a big match. So it's almost like they don't want to just. I think
you added to Survivor Series. There's 3 matches for the Survivor Series.
They tease Saturday night's main event, which obviously is not going to happen.
No, it is. That's why they didn't announce it.
I don't think Survivor Series.
No.
That's not a good idea to me. It's not a good idea.
No. It's right now. They are penciled in for the main event for Saturday night main event.
I mean, that's what it gives because that's not going to be the only match they have. They're going to have multiple. They're going to have multiple matches.
Why? Kevin Owens has not earned a title shot. I like the character direction, but they legitimately have not given a real reason why Kevin Owens deserves another title shot. Like they don't do the bare minimum. Like that's the reason why people didn't buy into Solo Sikoa as a challenger for Cody Rhodes, despite him being presented as a top heel. They didn't give him any singles wins worth of damn that really legitimized him. And I feel like Kevin Owens, they could have just gave him like a referee stoppage victory over Randy Orton. I think that would have been as impactful as the stretcher job and would have gave him an actual win to make him the number 1 contender. It's fine to have an emotionally driven personal rivalry. And I like like I said, I like the character directions and all of that. But them not announcing the matchup last night made it clear to me they don't know when they're doing this match. And it's not because it's such a big matchup. Because it's not such a big matchup because they gave it away already.
I think it's going to be a series of matches because I think Cody is going to.
I don't think there is.
He's going to be.
I don't think there is.
And
I don't think it's going to be a series of matches. I don't think it is because they already had one matchup and KO lost that matchup.
And Kevin Owens has to beat Cody Rhodes at least once for there to be more than one match. And I think
I guarantee you, I think you're right. I think you're right about them doing multiple matches, and I think I'm right in that Cody Rhodes going to win every one of
them. And you see now, and people would be mad at
winning
that.
Cleanly, like a clean win, or like something's going to happen to interfere to let him win.
And it's like people got, that's where people better have the same energy when John Cena was getting all of these fucking W's against every single person he was feuding with, because this shit is if this shit happens again with if you're gonna make us give a shit about this part in this version of Kevin Owens, like you said, he's got to get a victory in the ring that matters. And I think the grudge match, the fight that they would have, Kevin should win the grudge match. He should just win the fight, whether it's dirty, he does something malicious. He should win the grudge match. That would automatically be enough for him to get a rematch for the championship and make it multiple matches.
Yeah, and I think that the reason why they teased it and were so vague on everything last night is that they're not doing this matchup until Saturday night's main event, and they just have one more week to get through on SmackDown for them to just start promoting it.
Listen, I didn't mind the making us wait because it's like, don't blow your whole load on Survivor Series because at the end of the day, nobody's gonna care about it. The whole.
They haven't even inserted the penis. They haven't even inserted the penis. The penis is in Brooklyn. The vagina's in Bronx. They have announced 3 matches, and the show is in 7 days. What the fuck are we doing?
Dude, the whole fucking pay-per-view is gonna be the WarGames match. That's literally that's their whole fucking night. Is that one fucking WarGames?
Each one is gonna be an hour long.
Yeah, that's their whole pay-per-view, dog. They're gonna have probably 2 matches in between, and nobody's gonna care about any of them. We already know what it is.
We're gonna have a 3-match card. Oh my god, this is I blame
No,
all
we're gonna
of you
have one more match
WWE
that's announced
fans,
on Monday.
WWE fans that accepted this 5-match merchant bullshit. Now we gotta live. We're gonna have a fucking premium live event. We're gonna have a 3-hour show. 3 matches.
There's gonna be 4. They're gonna stick a 4th in there, and it's gonna be random as fuck.
And not it be
about any of the other matches.
Don't let it be your top champion, your world champion. What?
So the 3 is the 2 War Games, and what is it, Damien and Gunther?
Yes, that's
it.
Oh,
they're gonna have one more throw in there, and they have 4 matches. Make everybody happy. That's it. And
it sounds like it's doing the opposite, because I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
They can't put Kevin and Cody in that shit. Like, that card is already a clusterfuck.
Yeah, you need to. You need another matchup for people to look forward to. You have 3 matches in the card, and only 1 match is intriguing.
And we already know the Bloodline one is closing the show.
Yeah, that's it's a 1-match card. Like, I think everybody is just pussyfooting around the fact that this whole Survivor Series is a 1-match card.
This show starts at 6 p.m.
Yes,
6 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, the main event's gonna start at like 8 o'clock, and then it'll take up the rest of the night. So they only need 2 hours of shit, and then the first hour is gonna be the women's War Game match. So they really only need like 30 to 40 minutes of filler, because you know they're gonna have a 20-minute vignette on the fucking main event.
They're gonna have a bunch of commercials and a whole bunch of bullshit. They're gonna show how we the showing of how we got to the War Games at least 10-15 minutes.
Just face it, bro. We're gonna get or the third match. You're gonna get like 2 segments. You're gonna probably get like maybe like a Wyatt 6 segment or some shit with the Wyatt 6 and fucking Final Testament. They're gonna throw them in there.
You know what makes all this funny though, is that everything that's being said right now, that goes to the criticism of how the PLEs have been laid out. That doesn't help at all.
Well,
it doesn't help at all. Senior Nerd said it too. There's another one, the Nakamura and LA Knight, just random US title match out of nowhere. It's gonna be a random ass 4th match. That's gonna be in there with segments. We know this already.
Oh my god! You're telling me we can get more matches on a Royal Rumble, which matches really do need to take an hour. Yet we can't get 4 matches more than a week before Survivor Series. Every other WWE PLE, I knew the whole lineup 8, 9, 10 days before. But the Survivor Series, we only got 3 matches to go.
And bro, you know what's going to take even longer? You know what's going to take longer than one of those 2 matches that's other than the War Games match? The length of time between CM Punk and Roman Reigns that decides who comes out last.